Please tell me you swiped some of those.
I really should have. I really should have. And
Simon, what's wrong with you,
I don't
man?
know. Yeah,
You're not
I mean,
sentimental
I
at
stole a
all.
lot of granola bars, but I should have taken the priceless art.
Welcome to Couch Surfing, the show where witty guests look back at their big roles, their little roles, and everything in between. I'm here social distancing with Simon Rich. Simon, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me on. This is fun.
This is going to be good. You ready to surf?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Now, Mike, I'm not sure if you're aware, but this is a very special day
So
for us here
SNL
at
is
the
a
show.
dream job for a lot of writers and comedians. Did it meet your expectations? What didn't meet your expectations when you first arrived at 30 Rock?
SNL was a blast. I had such a great time there. I was there for 4 seasons from '07 to 11. And
That was a good time to be there.
it was really fun. Yeah, great cast, as you can see. I think Andy and Jason were in their 3rd season, maybe, when I got there. I was very young when I started. I was in my early 20s, and as young as I look now, I looked insanely young when I was that age, and I would often get confused for an intern and get stopped by security on the way to rehearsal. And
Love it.
it was always I was always a little offended. And then I remember one day it was late on Saturday, and we had just had a terrible dress rehearsal, in large part due to some poor sketches that I had written that bombed. And a couple of security guards were like, "Are you a writer?" And I said, "Oh no, I'm just an intern." And I just kind of ducked around a side exit.
All right, up next.
You know, a lot of people have said to me, Simon, you're just a hack TV writer. How could you attempt to write something as lofty
That was
as a novel?
my first novel
Well,
had
then I
just come
say,
out, and we made this
all artists
little thing
contributions
online, so people would hopefully read it.
What a novel way to introduce your first novel.
Yeah.
From the
And-
stage of 8H, no less. Very nice.
They were so nice about it, like, because a lot of people at SNL have other projects that they're doing, and they never, Lauren and those guys, they never made you feel guilty for pursuing your weird individualistic creative goals outside of the show.
For many writers, fiction is the end all be all, but do you see it as an extension of your TV work, or do you see your TV work as an extension of your fiction work?
It's a good question. I mean, I'm pretty unusual because basically everything I've ever done has been based on my fiction. So both of my TV shows and all the features I've worked on, they've all been based on my short stories and novels. And I have written for other shows that are not mine, obviously, like SNL. Right. But when left to my own devices, I just naturally will always want to write it as prose first, and then occasionally that lends itself to adaptation.
You got a great track record.
Thank you.
Let's keep moving. Up next.
For the first time since we broke up, I'm actually over Maggie.
So this is from a show, Man Seeking Woman, based on a short story collection I wrote called "The Last Girlfriend on Earth," and not a ratings juggernaut. This show,
but it had a cult following. It had a huge cult following.
Well,
and we had Jay Baruchel on the show, and he described this show as 3 perfect albums of television.
Oh, that's sweet.
Isn't it nice? And he raved about the creative freedom. Did you have to fight for that level of creative freedom?
No, that was what was so great about it, is because nobody was watching. They kind of just let us get away with whatever we wanted. And to this day, it's been probably my favorite thing I've ever worked on. We just loved making it. It was, obviously, it's a weird show because there's time travel and trolls, and in one episode, a gigantic Japanese penis monster. I got a call a couple of years ago, and from a line producer, and he was like, "Yeah, so I think we need to destroy the penis monster." And he was calling me from like a storage chamber in Toronto,
Okay.
and they had been holding on to all of the monsters from Man Seeking Woman. And he was like, "Do you want this stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, definitely not." I don't want to turn my house into like a horror exhibit. But I told them to call Jay and offer it to him. So it's very possible that Jay claimed some of the monsters from that show. I don't know if they're either incinerated or in Jay's place in Canada.
Welcome back to Couch Surfing. I'm still here with Simon Rich. Simon, shall we continue?
Sure.
All right.
What exactly are you supposed to be?
You know, it's unclear. I'm mostly cotton.
So you were staff writer at Pixar for a few years. What exactly does that entail?
So I worked there. My main boss was Pete Docter, who and this is his film, and it was extremely fun. I mean, I learned so much about visual storytelling and working with the storyboard artists. You learn how, even watching it right now, I'm distracted by it because it's just so visually compelling. But the most fun thing the kind of real humbling thing that happens to you as a screenwriter working for Pixar is you realize that good animation and good storyboard work kind of obviates any kind of writing that you could ever want to do. It's animation is such a great visual shortcut and the most efficient way to tell a story when it's done correctly. So as a screenwriter, you're often feeling totally useless. And it's a testament to just how talented they all are.
You got to work with some great voice actors on this next project. So let's take a look.
I thought you agreed that trophies should be
So you've gone on record as saying The Simpsons is a pretty major influence on your life. How did it feel getting the chance to write an episode?
It's basically the culmination of all of my life's hopes and dreams. The way I was able to do this is I just cornered Matt Selman at a Fox event and just begged him to let me pitch some ideas. And then I got to go to the offices of The Simpsons on the Fox lot, and Matt Groening was there, which I did not expect. And he was certainly not there to hear my pitches. He just happened to randomly physically be there when I walked into the room. And I sat down in a chair, and he said, "Okay, let's hear them." And before I started, he stopped me and said, "You know, that's the chair I was sitting in when I pitched The Simpsons." So I don't know if that was true or like a power move or something. Nobody laughed, which makes me think it was true. But it was truly frightening. But luckily they liked one of the ideas enough to let me take a crack at it.
Now that's something you should take from a set, that chair. That's a magic chair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you bathe after you sit in a chair like that, or do you just...
Not in the years since.
All right, up next.
Wait, the rest of you are fine. You just go around. Oh, let's...
So did you and Daniel Radcliffe bond over your love of The Simpsons, or did you bond over the fact that people said you looked like Harry Potter growing up?
That's true. One of many Jewish nerds who I think have gotten that designation. People have always said that I look like him, which I take as a huge compliment.
Yeah,
he's so versatile, and obviously everybody knows him from the Harry Potter films, which he's so good in. But he's also if you see him on Broadway or in the West End or in independent films, you can just see he has so many different gears and moves, and with a show like this especially, you need actors who are super versatile and willing to take huge risks. And so Dan is a perfect person to build that show around.
Up next.
You must be thirsty. I mean,
so this is an American Pickle starring Seth Rogen, and this is kind of a full circle moment for you because Seth was the first actor to deliver your televised words, right?
That's right. Yeah. So I first met Seth Rogen in 2007 when he hosted SNL for the first time. And the first thing that I wrote that ended up being televised was Seth Rogen's monologue. And then that Pickle movie is based on a novella I wrote for The New Yorker called Sellout. And about 5 or 6 years later when that came out and I wanted to try to adapt it, he was the first person I thought of.
This is your first film adaptation. What about this process surprised you, intrigued you, and are you looking forward to doing it again?
Well, for starters, the food is much better. So that really blew me away.
To know.
And
Good to know.
no, it's features are so different than every medium is different, and they all have their pluses and their minuses, and they all give you different weapons and take other weapons away. And I've always been interested in that. It's why I like to write in different mediums. I think there's certain things you can do in novels that you cannot do on TV or in film, and vice versa. And it's fun when you have an idea to try to think, like, where does this want to live? And then when you adapt something, when I adapt something, I always try to forget that the original story or novel exists, because, so just because it worked on the page doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for actors.
Oh, Simon, this was fantastic. Thank you so much for surfing by.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, An American Pickle is streaming on HBO Max now. See you next time on Couch Surfing. Bye.
Bye.